In this video, we're going to build a stand or pedestal for our telescope to be mounted to. The file we're working with is named Telescope. It's a carryover from the previous video and can be found in the Working Files folder. For our telescope mount, we're going to use a simple primitive tube. Needing that mount to stand upright, we'll make our tube in the top view. Let's go ahead and take things back to 4 views. We can then activate the top view, taking it full screen. For the telescope to be balanced properly, we probably ought to position our mount somewhere in the middle of our second largest telescope section. Roll your wheel and zoom into that area. Now, so we can see the exact center of our telescope from side to side, go ahead and click on any of the blue wires. The red sticks that you see on the screen now represent that exact center point. This will be where we position the middle of our tube. Over on the right, in the command panel, activate the tube command. Positioning your cursor directly where the 2 red sticks on the telescope come together, go ahead and start pulling away. Now, this first ring is going to represent the hole in the tube. We're going to want that hole to be just a little bit bigger than the side-by-side dimensions on the telescope. When you're in the general area, let go and continue pushing sideways. This will now be the thickness of our mount. When happy there, click and push the mouse away diagonally. This last mouse action will set the height. Now, even though we can't see it from here, go ahead and click, and we'll go to the Modify column to type in our numbers. In the parameter section, radius 1 will take to 9. Radius 2 will take to 10. For the height, let's type in -15. We'll change the height segments down to 2, and we'll bump the number of sides up on our tube to 30. With those numbers in place and the tube still selected, we'll activate the Move command, moving the tube to somewhere around the center of that second section on the telescope. Okay, once we've done that, we'll use the keyboard shortcut Alt-W to return to 4 views. Then activate the perspective view, taking it full screen. Let's now get a little closer in on our tube. I'll hit Z to move in quickly, then roll my wheel back a little ways to zoom out. Now to cut the needed area out, we could always just Boolean the mount at this point. That would give us a perfect fit in addition to a real clean cut. But we're trying to stay with the box modeling techniques here. So instead, let's see if we just can't maybe pull a few polygons down. Now on inspection, you'll notice that the top of the tube has 5 polygons on each side of the telescope. We're going to leave those polygons where they are, selecting all the other polygons on that top surface. Now to better see those, let's first do a little trick. We'll select the telescope, then on the keyboard, type Alt-X. That's the shortcut key for see-through mode. This now allows us to see through the telescope directly down onto the polygons that we're going to need to select. Okay, go back and select the tube, converting it down to an editable poly. In the Modify stack, open the Editable Poly entry, selecting Polygon. Now we can select the proper polygons on the direct top surface of our tube. Remember, we're going to want to leave 5 polygons unselected on each side. I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll start here. Hold the Control key, and we'll go around. We'll do the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll go as far as I can, then we'll orbit to the other side. Let's go ahead over. Okay. Now we had 5 on one side. Let's get 5 on this. I'll leave this one free. 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll hold the Control key down, getting that last polygon. Okay, let's go ahead and orbit back around, holding that selection more to a side view. Now, look about halfway down the tube. You see that row of edges? We're going to now move these polygons down just to right above that. With the Move command active, grab the blue or Z stick on the transform gizmo, moving those polygons down. When done, I'll have those polygons maybe writing, let's say, 1/8 of an inch above that middle edge line. Let's go ahead now and deselect. We'll pull back and we'll see whether or not we need to now move the mount down. Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit buried inside the telescope. We'll go to Move, and we'll simply move that as needed. Now once we've done that, we'll reselect the telescope, hit Alt-X again, taking it out of see-through mode. Okay, back onto the tube. Now on the bottom of the tube, let's see what we have. This area, in order for us to follow along with our work, is going to need to be a solid surface. Watch how we do that. Back on the right, activate Edge mode. Now, on the bottom of the tube, select any of the single inside edges. And once you've got that selected, it'll turn red. With that selected, return to the right-hand column and click on the Loop command. This will select all the connected edges along that ring. Once you've got those, go ahead and hit the Delete command. What remains on the bottom of the tube can be selected as a border. Back on the right-hand side, under Edge, click on the Border selection. Now click anywhere along that ring at the bottom of the tube. With that entire area selected, which in essence is a series of edges, we'll now go back to the right-hand side, move a little further down the column, and choose Cap. This will fill that surface with one solid polygon. We can now select that newly created poly to continue building the bottom part of our mount. With that polygon selected, let's go ahead and enter the Bevel command. We're going to bevel this up just a bit, and then in. The circular polygon that remains is going to be the size of our post as it leads down. So we can continue working on that, and at the same time see how far down that post ought to run, let's lock our selection using the spacebar. We can now orbit back around so the telescope is on the top and the mount on the bottom. When in position, let's go ahead and right-click and activate Extrude. With that polygon still locked in place, we can go ahead and perform the extrusion. When you're happy with the distance, go ahead and let go of your mouse. At this point, if you found the post being a little bit too far around, what you could do is select all the neighboring polygons and simply scale them in two directions. Let's do that. We'll unlock our selection by tapping the spacebar. Still in polygon mode, we'll start below the post heading down, windowing that entire section. With those polygons selected, we'll right-click and choose the Scale command. Now for a two-dimensional scale, we won't be lighting up the gold triangle, but instead the gold bracket that connects the yellow and green sticks together. We can now push that in to whatever value we like. Okay, once you've done that, go ahead and deselect. To finish this out, let's put a base on our mount. That'll require us to go back down to the bottom of the post on the mount, selecting that bottom polygon. With that selected, I'll type Z to zoom in, then roll my wheel back so I'm not quite as close in. Let's lock this poly down again and orbit back to the top side. Now we'll create a bevel pointing down. We'll push down, let go, and then push out. The last part, the stand, will be an extrusion that will then 2D scale out. Activate the Extrude command. Extrude a polygon down. For this one, maybe I'll go 1.5 inches. Roll my wheel back, making sure I can see everything. Then I'll 2D scale this. Unlock your selection, click away, type Z, roll your wheel to get in better position, and feast your eyes on what you've created. So that's going to do it. We've now got both our telescope and a sturdy pedestal mount that we can use to spin it around. Both parts starting out as a simple primitive object and a few box modeling commands. I'm going to go ahead and save the scene out as telescope completed if you'd like to take a look.